I do. I have some people in my family who have road rage, and
Yeah.
it's I sit there and watch them. What? Why are you so angry? When we walk on the street and somebody just kind of lightly goes in front of us, we don't go off on them, do
No.
we? We don't go, oh, yo, what the hell are you doing? Oh, you watch where you walk. Fix your legs. You shouldn't be on the on the sidewalk.
Right.
But for some reason, when people, it depends on the car they have or something. I don't, or the other car that the other person's driving. They get so angry about it. I'm like,
Hey,
why does it matter so much? Like that you're gonna be so angry about it.
what I find works well is obviously timing your drive is very, very good for this. Making again when we first started, making this time very beneficial. So we listen to podcasts, we listen to audiobooks. I personally get through an audio book maybe twice in a week. So some like most books I'll be able to do it over twice a week just on that drive time alone. Which has filled my brain with so much more intuitive stuff and whatever, right? So that's been a very, very helpful tool for myself. Welcome back to Behind the Strength, where we increase your health, wealth, and peace of mind. I'm Christian Alvarez.
And I'm Carlo Bellagese.
And today we're here to increase your peace of mind. We're going to cover a topic that hits home to me because I face it every day, and I'm sure you do too, probably while you're listening to us. Today we're going to talk about road rage and traffic. And the reason why we're going to talk about it is because it affects so many of us on a daily basis. We're from Toronto, Canada. And this is a very big, third largest metropolitan city there is in North America. So there is a lot of people that live here. There's a lot of cars on the road. And for us to get to one place to another is at least a minimum drive of about 20 minutes, right? Either way. So we're going to talk about, our perspective on your drive, how not to road rage, and different ways for you to try to kind of beat that time while you're, or make it more efficient while you're actually just sitting there.
Hey, did you know that exposure to car traffic areas in people over 50 significantly increases their rate of heart attack?
That's crazy. I could bet it does.
And there's a study that found people living in areas within high traffic noise were 25% more likely than those quieter neighborhoods to have symptoms of depression.
Hey, downtown Toronto, man. I'm in downtown Toronto every single day. Right, just like to drive by it and to drop off like Brooklyn and then whatever. But they, like the people there, they literally walk in herds, all head down, and it's like scattered. And it's literally, you're just pushing through crowds. It's crazy.
That's why I don't think I've been to downtown Toronto in a while. I absolutely hate downtown Toronto.
It's crazy.
The last time I actually used to go there was when we used to party to go clubbing and stuff
Way,
like
way
that.
back, yeah.
That's like back in the day. That was like 10 years ago.
Yes, but I mean, like, so I drive through it every single day. So my drive every day to work is about an hour and 10 minutes, roughly, on a good day, or an hour. And that's like passing through one end of the city to another, to downtown Toronto to
You're from drive from Saga to downtown.
Mississauga, right, to downtown and then back up here to Scarborough, like north of Scarborough.
And you go like right in the morning, don't you?
I go right in the morning,
right in the
6:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Try to beat most of the traffic, but regardless, by the time you hop on the DVP, you're still sitting in traffic. 401, you're sitting there with traffic, or you're moving, but moving not so fast. So I found myself getting frustrated a lot, and I've literally gotten so worked up in the last how long that I've been doing this, probably like the last year, and I get worked up sometimes, like really worked up, that it affects me for that morning, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, there's so many other things I could be thinking about or doing, whatever. Like, even I have to do the drive, okay, but what is it that I can do in that drive rather than just focus on this person cutting me off and that person cutting me off? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's funny because a majority, or not all, every single person that comes to our place, whether it's gym or therapy, they're facing a shit ton of traffic.
Yeah.
And I could see it in their faces the moment they come in here. It's kind of like a weight's lifted off their shoulders.
100%.
And they feel happier. I mean, which is great. It's a good hit of happiness and more relief when they get here.
Of course.
But you could see when a majority of them come, it's like, holy shit, you had a bad day.
You're already frustrated.
You're already frustrated. And
you had a long day at work. You did the drive in the morning. You did the drive at 5.
Or you're stuck in public transit traffic. That's even worse. I absolutely hate that.
There's a lot of times that they have to stop the GO train or stop the TTC for whatever reason. And the next, you're delayed and you're sitting there. You're literally helpless. You cannot do anything.
Well, if you think about it, if you travel, every day from Monday to Friday, average commute time is an hour.
Yeah.
So it's 2 hours. That's 10 hours a day. You're stuck in like
10 hours a week.
anxiety. 10 hours a week. You're stuck in anxiety. You're stuck in stress. Depression.
For sure.
You're starting to hate people. You start to feel cramped up. You feel enclosed, alone sometimes too. Because if you're, a lot of people drive alone too.
100%.
So you feel lonely.
Like you could take those things and like there's two ways to look at that time when you're driving. Really, it's one is either it's a good time for you to have your own space, especially after a long day of facing people and going through whatever your emotions and switching gears like we've been doing all day for the last how many weeks and months and years now.
You're actually right though.
Right.
For me personally, when I drive, I kind of like it because I'm not around anybody.
It gets a nice solitude. You're in your own brain space.
Nobody could talk to me. I'm not on my phone. I'm listening to stuff.
Sure.
But I'm not on my phone kind of, I have a good reason not to be on my phone.
Yes.
I have a good reason to not acknowledge anybody who's trying to connect with me.
Yes.
And yeah, come to think about it, I feel happy in my car because there's so much quote unquote traffic
Solitude
around me every single day, all day, whether it's people coming at me or whatever.
Yeah. You know what? Like I was talking to Dr. Sean about this stuff, and he goes, sitting in traffic is very meditative, and he goes, it almost gets you to discipline yourself in so many ways, and allows for patience. And I said, why is that? He goes, think about it. You're in an environment where you're in solitude. Everything else around you is hectic. You cannot control your environment. So you can't control if this asshole's going to cut you off or this is going to brake hard all of a sudden or if they're going too slow and the next car in front of them like 3 feet, 10 feet further. You can't control those things. You can honk, you can beep, you can fucking, high beam, but it doesn't really do much. So he's like, it actually does something for your patience and your discipline as a person because you're sitting in a very, in an environment where you cannot control. The only thing you can control is literally your breathing and your emotion and how your perspective is taken on that.
Yeah, especially if you're stuck in the express lane.
Yo.
And there's mad traffic, you're trying to get the hell off it.
Exactly.
And then prior to that, you're like, shit, should I switch from the regular lane to express lane?
Yes.
And you're like, shit, okay, I'm just gonna go express. I think it's gonna be faster. Then you hit a wall of traffic.
Yeah. And
that is stressful.
And you know what the biggest thing is? This says a lot for all of us as people because we always think the world is against us. And
especially in traffic. I feel like people in traffic, when they're sitting
down,
it's
a personalized thing.
Like somebody just cuts in front of you. I can't imagine like so many people are just getting so angry about it.
So every single day I have to go through, like when I make my way to downtown Toronto from the 401, I have to hop onto the Don Valley Parkway. So now people don't actually, form into it. They wait. Everybody drives right up to the tip of where like you can't even cross anymore, and they all cut there now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I want to videotape it and be like, hey, listen, like this is fucking Toronto right now. This is what's really happening.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the patience and the attention span of people is gone.
Well, they say with that the best way to do it is kind of zipper in, wait until the end, but you don't wait there.
Yes.
You have to zipper in. So it's a common like
it is
like the people on that lane and people in the merging lane. You kind of have to kind of coincide with each other. That's actually what makes traffic much faster.
Yes, of course.
Instead of trying to switch lanes before like the end, like how some people try to switch lanes right away.
But again, here's the problem with these things: is that somebody's taking it personally, like this guy's trying to cut me off.
Yeah,
but he's not.
I don't really.
He's just trying to get somewhere. You're trying to get somewhere,
Listen,
and he's not personally cutting you off.
People. I have some people in my family who have road rage.
Yeah.
And I sit there and watch them. I'm like, what? Why are you so angry? When we walk on the street and somebody just kind of lightly goes in front of us, we don't fucking go off on them, do we? We don't go, oh yo, what the hell are you doing? You watch where you walk. Fix your legs. You shouldn't be on the sidewalk.
Right.
But for some reason, when people, it depends on the car they have or something. Or the other car that the other person's driving. They get so angry about it. I'm like, hey, why does it matter so much? Like that you're gonna be so angry about it.
Like I know for myself, I've gotten angry many times because of the fact it's like what would be, say if an expected drive of 45 minutes or an hour now all of a sudden took an hour and 45 or it doubled
Yeah.
all of a sudden. So that extra time is something that's already getting to me. It's already bothering me. I'm already in one space for this long,
But you know
but
what?
it's not an excuse.
It was always going to take that time,
Exactly.
regardless if you wanted it or not.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It wasn't up to you.
No, exactly.
So when you look at Google, it's like expected time
Yes,
is like 90
exactly.
minutes now.
Right.
It's like, well, I guess
That's
it's
gonna
90
take 90 minutes. Exactly.
It didn't turn into 90 minutes all of a sudden.
Right,
It was
exactly.
gonna be
It
90
was gonna
minutes.
be
dog.
90.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do
Yeah,
about
exactly.
it? Right. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you fucking get angry about
You
it?
know,
or-
a big thing to really do. You know, what I find works well is obviously timing your drive is very, very good for this. Making again when we first started, making this time very beneficial. So we listen to podcasts, we listen to audiobooks. I personally get through an audio book maybe twice in a week. So some like most books I'll be able to do it over twice a week just on that drive time alone, which has filled my brain with so much more intuitive stuff and whatever, right? So that's been a very, very helpful tool for myself.
Well, now that we have Saga, I kind of look forward to driving over there because if I go by myself, dude, I finish audiobooks like crazy, just like yourself. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
you know, when people are like, "Oh my God, it's such a long drive," is it really?
Yeah, for
is
sure.
It really?
If you
Dude,
take a trucker or a delivery guy every day, look what he does, and
that's
look what
the thing.
she does,
I
right?
used to deliver, yo.
Yeah,
I used to
so for you,
used-
it's like I was constantly stuck in the 401.
Dude, I used to deliver Japanese goods across Ontario. Okay,
Perfect.
Across Ontario, not just Toronto. I hated Toronto. Imagine driving around in a Hino truck in the city
yeah.
of Toronto. So you would go across Ontario, maybe like Jacob's Farm Market, whatever, and like Kitchener Waterloo, whatever. And then you have to come back, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like your route. You go out of the city,
Out
and
of
you
the
come
city, and you
back,
come
and
back
then
in.
come back in the city, and then go back to Markham because that's where head office was. Imagine being in a Hino truck downtown Toronto, say even Dundas Street, in a Hino truck at 4:30 p.m. and you have to make 4 more stops on the way
Oh
home.
boy,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. People want to complain about traffic. Nobody wants to let a Hino truck in, especially an Asian guy driving it.
yeah.
Right?
And especially like when they fully see you're taking, materials out of your truck to deliver it somewhere, they're honking their horn at you to move.
Yeah.
And
So what I did was I made a game out of it. You remember that taxi cab game, the arcade one, where you have to pick people up and they give you
Oh,
money and you have a
yes.
time.
Yeah.
I just made it a game out of it in my head.
that's a great way to actually go about it.
No, because it's like, oh shoot, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself to get there in like less time this time. You make a game out of it. I mean, when you're playing that game, you don't care if people cut you off.
Not necessarily so. No,
Right?
you
It
don't
doesn't
care.
really matter.
No,
You're trying to
it doesn't
find a
matter.
better
Yeah,
route.
a route.
So that's how I go about traffic. Like, okay, how do I find a better route out of here? What does this maze look like right now?
I could bet that a lot of Uber drivers see the road that way.
But that's how you should see it, not just like. Remember what we always say: the things aren't happening to you.
Yes, it's just it is. That's what it is.
Make it happen. Just like with anything in life, you see it. You see an opening, you go for it.
Right.
Right. You don't. You're not
You're not
boxing.
there to go. I'm gonna go cut that guy.
Like a boxer's not boxing in a corner. They just have X amount less moves, but you have 2 or 3 now instead of 35.
Right.
Right? Just like traffic, you don't have the X amount of lanes, but then when you start seeing certain patterns, it actually makes your brain work better, man. Like if you make a game out of it, it's like,
For sure.
how many more moves I can
A little bit of solution, problem solving there. It's kind of like Tetris.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Sit there and gawk at how shitty life is?
yeah, for sure. And then
Yeah.
there's, like
Because you're driving. When you're a child, remember the time we were trying to drive? Like you
Yeah.
were so excited about
You
it.
were so excited
It doesn't
about it,
matter.
yeah.
You're sitting there. You weren't even moving, and you're moving the wheel and trying to touch the pedal and
Yeah.
imagining how it
Or
feels
if you
like
have to shift.
drive. Yeah. And now it's annoying.
that's like the extra concentration when you got to actually shift the
Oh, yeah.
manual car.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nightmare when I had a
Oh yeah.
manual car.
Oh yeah. I had manual cars growing up all throughout too, man.
Yeah.
It's sitting in traffic. That gets you to pay attention right now at this moment.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be that guy that stalls on the road.
Well, at the end of the day, man, it's an hour. If you're staying in an hour of traffic, it's still an hour of your life, and that hour is clicking down, man. Your entire life has X amount of hours in it.
100%. So you
And-
got to make it, kind of useful for you and not such a negative drive time or every single, because you know what? Do that over a course of your career. let's just say as a career as, somebody in an office or 40, 50-year working career, that turns you into a very bitter person by the end of it all, even in the middle of it all, right?
Yeah.
Think about what energy you're going to carry into work, into wherever else after, your family. I know I'm very guilty of that. So, like, I got to make sure that, hey, I got to check myself, right?
Yeah, man.
Right?
Whether you're getting angry at it or not, you're gonna have to.
You're
take
going to have to do it.
the 60
Yeah,
minutes,
for
dog.
sure.
Like, who gives a
Yeah.
shit?
And I think a big thing that has helped a lot is to actually mentally prepare yourself for it. So again, making a game out of it,
Making a game out of
setting
it.
okay, this is going to be my audiobook. I want to finish this part of it. I got 60 minutes. I need 60 minutes of this audiobook done. If you got a really good playlist of music, you might want to put that on because something to soothe your mind.
And that's the thing, like what I said earlier. Everybody's just go 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 go, and everyone's acting like they're so fucking busy. So if you have 60 minutes by yourself in the car, utilize that. Like
That's
honestly,
perspective. Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes I just drive with no music
Nothing.
on.
No, nothing.
Put the window down in the summertime. Like you just listen. You just pay attention to what's happening now.
Yes.
Fuck your phone. Put that away. Listen to it and pay attention to everything around you, man. It's a crazy experience actually. You start to like look, right? You just start to look. And I was talking to Kyla, my wife, the other night, because when I got home, my phone was charging, whatever. I left it downstairs, and we were just chilling upstairs with the dogs, hanging out. And I was just looking at her. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck did we used to do before we had phones? Why were we always on our phone? Like, why can't we just do this?
Yeah.
Like even TV, like everyone just sits down and watches TV or something. Like you just zone out. And I was just sitting there, just analyzing, looking at my dog, and my dogs are they're the smartest people in the room because they're just actually paying attention and
alert
and seeing it for what it is that moment.
Yeah.
And that made me really think, especially when we drive. Like even when we drive, we're fucking going like we're like
100%.
we're like because we want to make sure
Google
that
Maps,
we want to
Waze,
make sure that there's when, just in case cops come, just put it down like this. Why?
You're right.
Like why are you driving and even on your phone? Why? Can you just stop for a second? We do this. We put our fucking phone on our desk every single time.
100%.
Right? The whole day is just like make sure it's like crack.
Yes.
Like, I got that crack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the hit of adrenaline.
Just use traffic. Analyze people. Look at everybody, how angry they are, or how
You
happy
want to know what's
they
crazy? Whenever we're in a foreign place and you kind of see things as a tourist, you don't think of it the same way. I've sat down in traffic for a couple of hours, for almost 2 hours in New Delhi in India. So anybody that's ever been to India, New Delhi, that is one of the worst places for traffic on earth.
Yeah,
it is like
I could imagine.
the Philippines on steroids for traffic. China is pretty bad for traffic, right? But man, when you're sitting there, you're not so frustrated because you're looking around.
Oh yeah,
the sights, the smells, the sounds, and you're like,
yeah.
But we don't do that at our own home.
No,
right?
we absolutely
and we
hate
totally
it.
miss. And then later on, you're like, hey, how long has that building been there for? That business is kind of like, oh, that's been there for like 2 years. The same route you've been driving every day, but you miss it, right? You miss a lot of things.
You miss everything.
And that's a big thing. I think you need to learn to see the scope of the world through one is imagination and second is curiosity once again, and that kind of really checks your perspective on the way you're seeing things, the way your viewing lenses are going on through the day.
Yeah.
This includes in traffic. This includes anytime you're waiting. Some people have to wait on a damn phone for a service. Like anybody that's ever called Rogers or Bell knows how long that could take, or their bank, or right, and this could really be used for during that time as well, right? It's the same perspective.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you have a more comfortable car than me, man. I have a 2001 Civic, and it's old. You know what I mean? It's not that comfortable.
You got these heated
So
seats.
when I borrow other people, like even your car or like say, Marv's car, I'm like, yo, I can sit in traffic all day, bro. I'm good.
I like this.
There's seat warmers and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I connect to Bluetooth, not like auxiliary cable with like, you know the. To connect your phone to auxiliary cable, you have to put that adapter
with
a cassette
of
adapter.
Course, yeah.
I have
That's like
that
old
shit.
school.
I still have that shit.
You can't even just use an AC
Yeah, it's
adapter.
annoying.
No, it's an actual like a cassette.
Yeah, it's a cassette adapter.
Man. Anyway, if you guys have any suggestions on how to calm yourself at the time of traffic or waiting times or whatever, if you have any suggestions, please hit us up. You can hit us up at
Strengthen You, STRENGTH, the letter N, the letter U on Instagram.
Okay. And thank you very much for listening. Please give us suggestions on anything that you guys might want to hear us talk about. It could be fitness, it could be business, it could be life related. Anything that'll help better your health, wealth, and your peace of mind.
We got you.
All right?
All right, later.
Take care.